Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, I guess I can say now. Thank you so much for coming. It's just a gorgeous day here at Lake Hopatcong, which is very befitting that we're really here today to celebrate the lake. And it's just unusual we have an opportunity to do something like this when there's not some kind of a crisis. And it's the kind of things we'd like to be able to, do more often. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank someone that really helped put this all together, that has actually been helping the lake for over a decade, and I don't want to forget her, so I'm going to start with her. I know Carrie Flew is here somewhere, and Carrie is, she's everything you want someone you deal with in government to be, and I can say that having been in government for 37 years before I retired. She's always been honest with us for over a decade, doesn't always tell us the message we want, and that heavily so sometimes. But every one of the mayors here will say the same thing. They know when Carrie calls, she's being very honest and truthful with them, as the administrators are already shaking their head on. So Carrie, thank you. Commissioner, thank you for coming, because we were thinking, and we think it's been about 15 years since we had a DEP Commissioner come when there wasn't a crisis. So it's probably long overdue, but hopefully this starts a new trend. Because this is behind me is one of your greatest resources. It's just an amazing resource that so many people in New Jersey aren't even familiar with. So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you coming. A lot of what we're doing here today started a couple of years ago with the local mayors. And 3 of our 4 mayors are here today. Mayor Wilsusen, Mayor Francis, and Mayor DiFilippo. And I think it's just because the 3 of them are so good to work with and such good people that we're able to kick off a mayor's meeting just to once or twice, once every month or so, to get all the mayors together and just for a few minutes focus on Lake Hopatcong and nothing else from their plate. And they've been just so great to work with. And then when Governor Murphy came about 1.5 years ago now, and I have to say, and Governor Murphy's now visited us twice, and we hope to have that 3rd time. When Governor Murphy said, I am going to have my DEP meet with you regularly. And I have to say, we kind of thought that was the right thing to say at the time, and we didn't really expect it to happen. And the next thing we knew, we were dealing with Associate Commissioner Angarone, and Katie could not be a better person to work with. I mean, she's been completely honest with us. She has made herself available to us. She is really, really smart. None of us want to talk technical with her. But more importantly, she just listened to us. And Mayor Francis will be the first one to tell you that wasn't always what we wanted to hear when we brought ideas forward. But the thing, we always felt we were having an honest and frank discussion. And at least we were being heard. And a lot of things are moving forward because of that. So I cannot thank you enough for what you have done to make this all work in a collaborative fashion. And that's the thing, too often these days, we fight about all these things, and we've lost that spirit of cooperation and collaboration. And we always like to say that Lake Hopatcong it's not a red issue, it's not a blue issue, it's a New Jersey issue. It's one of our greatest resources, and if we can't take care of that, then we're doing something wrong. And too often, we want to just say, hey, it's New Jersey's lake, let them take care of it. No, it's all our lake. And it's something that we all have to take care of. And that's really why we're here today. And I'm absolutely blown away by who we have in the audience here. I only found out that Congresswoman Sherrill was coming last night, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for being here. It means so much to us, and you've been such a friend of the lake. Senators Oroho and Bucco, I don't know that we have 2 better friends when it comes to Lake Hopatcong. You and your staffs are just amazing with what you do. I know you get tired of hearing from us at times, but you guys are just wonderful. We have in the audience, in addition to our mayors, we have the county commissioners who have actually gone beyond what they need to do at numerous times. We have I always have to now think of how I say it. It's the Director of the County Commissioners, right, Steve Shaw? All right. I saw we have Sylvia Patillo here, who's a former mayor of Hopatcong, but she's also representing the Sussex County Commissioners. We have the Morris County representing the Morris County Administrator, we have Dina Leary. We have Greg Poff, who is a Sussex County Administrator. This is when I really risk getting into trouble, right? When I look around and I'm going to miss somebody. But I know we have representatives from some of our legislators. I know Ora Dunn has a representative here, and I think some of the others do. So thank you all so much. We really do appreciate it. And with that, I have the pleasure actually now of introducing our congressional representative for half the lake, the bigger half of the lake, I have to say. Sorry, it's a Jefferson and Hopatcong side, and a really true friend, Mikie Sherrill. So thank you so much.
Well, I have just learned so much as an elected official, Marty. I have never heard people more praised for telling you things you don't want to hear. So thank you. Thank you. That's a great tip. But no, thank you so much. I really want to thank the NJDEP Acting Commissioner LaTourette for organizing this event today, and to congratulate you on your nomination last month. It's wonderful to be here to kick off the summer lake season. I was just saying earlier, I'm not a really great rainy day person, so thank you everyone for organizing such a gorgeous day to do this. It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you, Shawn, all the local officials here, Mayor Francis and Wilsusen. From Sussex County, as you heard, Commissioner Patillo and Administrator Greg Poff. From Morris County, Commissioner Director Shaw. I don't try to freeform that one. And John and Dina. We've seen our great senators, Senator Bucco, Senator Oroho from the Lake Hopatcong Commission, Ron and Colleen from the Lake Hopatcong Foundation, Marty and Kyle. Kyle, congratulations on your new role. Kyle, I just talked to you. Hi, right in front of me. I do get in trouble when I say thank you everyone so much for being here today. Like always, the support for Lake Hopatcong and ensuring its health comes from all levels of government and our community. I don't have to tell you that Lake Hopatcong is one of our state's great treasures, a place for New Jersey families and tourists alike to come gather and enjoy the great outdoors. Many of you have been coming here since you were young. More than that, it's a crucial component of the local economy for surrounding towns in Sussex and Morris counties. I've been following the updates of the HABs mitigation projects funded last year through NJDEP's grant program and the collaboration and contributions of, well, really everyone here. Although I do have to give a special shout out to Mayor Francis, who is, I think, taken over Crescent Cove to run experimental HABs projects, which I really appreciate. I'm hoping to get out on the floating classroom soon to see some of the other projects as well. On a federal level, I am looking for every opportunity to do my part. In 2020, I helped lead the effort to pass the Great American Outdoors Act, which is a piece of landmark conservation legislation to permanently fund the Land and Water Conservation Fund and ensure we have the resources we need to address the maintenance backlog in many of our public spaces. With respect to HABs, as chairwoman of the House SST Committee's Environment Subcommittee, I led a bipartisan, bicameral letter to the GAO asking for a review of the federal government's response to HABs and hypoxia, with a goal of prioritizing federal research to help state and local governments respond to HABs most effectively. The GAO expects to finalize this report by the end of the year. And in the recent 2020 Water Resources Development Act, also known as WRDA, I fought to secure the explicit inclusion of, quote, inland waters of the state of New Jersey. Much of the funding had been directed to inland waters of Florida, so we got the New Jersey in there and the Great Lakes in an Army Corps demonstration project for detecting, treating, preventing, and eliminating HABs. The Army Corps is waiting for implementation guidelines for this program and funding levels, but we're continuing to check in, and I'll keep everyone updated on that. In fact, I just met with our new New York district commander last month and hope to have him here in the district shortly. As I said before, it's always wonderful to be here to see the progress that this group has made. I talk to members from across the country, and I don't think there are stronger and more passionate advocates for district issues than there are here in New Jersey, and especially, I would say, in the 11th district, the bigger half of the lake. So thank you all so much for being here. I sincerely appreciate it. And now I'll pass the mic to Commissioner LaTourette. Thank you.
I'm supposed to introduce
Oh, you're supposed to. I'm sorry.
you're gonna me fired. I knew it. No, and I have to say, when we first got involved with this, the partnership between the Lake Hopatcong Commission, as represented by Ron Smith and Colleen Lyons, and the commissioners, a number of which are here, and the Lake Hopatcong Foundation, just from day one, has been great. And I think that speaks so highly of Ron, who has a bit of a political background, which I think we were like long lost brothers when we met. Is this wonderful that the two organizations can work so well together, and we from the nonprofit standpoint, and then from the more governmental standpoint, it's just a good fit. And when you have people like Kelly Doucette, who works in the district for really good people, it makes it that much easier. So, all right, the commissioner, he's a really New Jersey guy. He went to Rutgers, both college and law school, and we don't hold law school against you here.
Thank you.
He was an attorney for quite some time in environmental causes. And what really kind of hit me was when you came into DEP, and I guess we first met at some meeting when we were down complaining about something in Trenton. You were first counsel, then you were chief of staff, then you were deputy commissioner. So you've kind of been in this rodeo before. So this is like a really good thing. And you're very well qualified. We were thrilled when you were nominated. We hope the Senate, acts on this quickly. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce our acting commissioner, Shawn LaTourette. Thank you.
Well, it's a beautiful day on the lakeshore, huh? I mean, this is an outstanding place. It truly, truly is. So I became introduced to Lake Hopatcong when I was younger, and my family would come up here occasionally. And so in 2019, when we saw this surge of harmful algal blooms, it hit me in the heart, not as hard as all of you who care for this place and love this place and have built your lives and your businesses and your families around it. So we have to do all that we can to protect it. And I am so grateful for the partners that we have across this space today, from our local elected leaders to our senators to our federal representative, and for the incredible work of two people in particular. One who was mentioned already, Katie Angarone. You have to stand up. Katie is our Associate Commissioner of Science and Policy, and the leader of DEP's HAB task force. She has brought to life the governor's vision for deploying more resources, for evaluating the science to ensure that the guidance we provide to our communities and our partners is actionable and current and meaningful. And she's led the expert teams that have been put together from government and academia and been a great, great partner to the folks here. So Katie, thank you. And to our Assistant Commissioner for Natural and Historic Resources, Ray Bukowski. Ray, you gotta raise your hand. Who oversees all of our state parks and natural areas and wildlife management areas with his team, including our new Director of Parks, John Cecil, and our superintendents. Come on, there we go. Thank you. So much care across state government goes into protecting our resources. And there's a lot to do all the time. And we have placed a special priority on ensuring that we are better protecting our watersheds. And the experience of Lake Hopatcong in 2019 and before that, before we were measuring HABs the way that we do now, it is a symbol of why watershed management is so critically important, right? Because like each of us, our water is interconnected, right? Our rural farms, our dense cities, our suburbs, our scenic and working waterfronts, and the roads that connect them all exist in a watershed. And it's important to note that how we conduct our experience of living and learning and working and growing businesses all around a place like this, that experience exists in a watershed. How we develop, how we conserve, how we manage land and the water that runs off of it. All of that impacts the waterways within watersheds, like the watershed that exists right here. So how we manage our stormwater, how we support our local governments, how we have moved this park facility off of a septic system that is a known cause of contributions to adverse impacts that can further the production of HABs. Those are all examples of how we can preserve resources like this. And it requires each of us to think hard about what we do, like any environmental issue. Because by the time that we see it, that we experience the detriments of it, that we can't swim or we can't fish, by the time those things happen, it's too late. We all have to take care at the outset. And this is the lesson of environmental protection through and through over the decades. That what we all do matters. That how we take care of this place is part of how we take care of each other. Because we can all keep these businesses open. We can all keep the visitors coming. We can all help promote the economy of this region and enjoy this lake if we're taking care of the things that we do individually that impact it. How much fertilizer we put on our lawns, whether or not we're cleaning out our sewer systems, whether we embrace shared watershed planning and stormwater management, building priorities around things that don't seem important until they are. Because this is important. It's for all of us. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to celebrate the great work everyone has done. I would be remiss if I did not mention how incredibly important it is to us that folks get vaccinated against the virus that has really so thoroughly impacted our economies and our ability to enjoy one another's company. And to help move that forward and encourage folks to get vaccinated and take good care of themselves and each other, we want to make sure that our state parks are providing an avenue for folks to connect. So if you haven't already seen that DEP and the governor are promoting the New Jersey State Parks Vax Pass, where folks who have been vaccinated at least one dose by July the 4th can get a free state parks pass for the rest of the season through the end of this year. I'd encourage you to go to nj.gov/vaxandvisit and take advantage of that resource. And let's get more folks here. Let's continue to build the infrastructure like we're doing right up the hill to put more folks in our parks and take care of this place and take care of each other. Thank you.
Wow, in addition to being a great collaborator almost sounds bad, but a wonderful person to work with. Now I found out I get a free pass. This is pretty good. I'm in. And I just want to, I do see Assistant Commissioner Bukowski here, and as he knows in this park, and I welcome the new head of parks. It's great to have you here. It's one of your nicest parks, honest. That, we've had a couple of projects around here forever, and it's so nice to see some of them like moving forward, like the restoration of the Hopatcong State Park fountain, which one of our lead volunteers, Bob Rung, has been like carrying forward with himself for 3 years, and he's here today. Just thank you so much for meeting with us and getting those things moving. And the HABs projects and the grants and everything are just wonderful. I guess when I have two senators here, it's like I guess I go with the senior senator, so I don't get myself into trouble, or I go in the one that's actually in your district.
That's the way you work.
Okay, I have to listen. In that case, there's two senators here today. As I said, we don't probably have two better friends in the world toward Lake Hopatcong. Just how supportive they are, and they're really friends. So with that, I'd like to invite up Senator Tony Bucco. Oh, we're having both come up together, Senator Bucco and Senator Steve Oroho.
That's because it will be short.
We have the 24th and 25th districts. Thank you so much.
We've been told that we can go out on the boat after this, so you can bet this is going to be short. Commissioner, it's always wonderful to have you here. We look forward to a speedy confirmation process, get you through, and get you back up here again as a real live commissioner. So, but you look behind me, what a beautiful sight, right? Everybody recognizes it. But that just doesn't happen. We know that from what we've experienced over the course of time. And it takes the Lake Hopatcong Foundation, the Lake Hopatcong Commission, the commissioners of both Sussex and Mars County. It takes the DEP and the mayors of the towns all working together to make this lake as beautiful as it is and to stay as beautiful as it is. And that is why I think Senator Oroho and I take great pride in Trenton of working so hard for this great state asset. Because I think Marty said it best, it's all our asset. And we all have an obligation to take care of it. And I'm going to let Senator Oroho talk about our legislation just briefly. But we are working on some things. Commissioner, we're going to be on the boat with you, so we're going to have you on each side. We're going to talk about a few things. You'll have nowhere to run, but we'll take it easy on you. Thank you for being here. God bless you.
Thank you, Senator Bucco. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Senator Bucco's dad, Senator Tony Bucco. I had the privilege of serving with him in the legislature. Senator Bucco started the Lake Commission, right? And he's just a terrific person. And as Senator Bucco had mentioned, the legislation we have, and it already passed out of committee at $10 million for state-owned lakes with respect to lake management. Lake Hopatcong and Greenwood Lake would get a pretty good chunk of that money. So hopefully we can see that legislation go through. But I also just want to welcome the Commissioner, LaTourette, up here to, I'm taking the word acting off, all right, up to Lake Hopatcong, because probably within the past couple of weeks, we already had like 3 or 4 meetings, together. And the one thing is having the commissioner come up here, and that's why so many people are here, because it's so important that, when the commissioner comes up to take a look at, our prime asset for the state of New Jersey, that's why you have a lot of the elected officials here. That's why you have, and plus, he's a nice guy to work with. Just the other day on a completely different issue, we were talking about it, and he said, listen, he says, I don't think we can do this. And we talked about before, if somebody's given a message, like Carrie and I have been friends for a long time. We went to high school together, right? But, but also to have somebody say, I don't think we can do it this way, but we can do it this way. Or have you thought about this? Or so you have somebody with that kind of experience. So I know you didn't have a lot of issues with the Lake Commissioner. It's with a lot of gratitude. We appreciate you being here. I know you've been here a few times already, and you're welcome any time. So, Commissioner, thank you very much.
Hey, we're now going to have a few brief remarks from 3 mayors present, and we're going to start with Roxbury, because if this wasn't state property, we're in Roxbury, and that's what Mayor DeFilippo is going to tell you. And Bob, please come on up. I know I every once in a while I really get him going, and after he yells at me for like 10 minutes, then he usually calls back and is calmer. But I do sometimes get him going. Bob?
But only Marty comes with a list of things he wants the commissioner to do. I don't know how I got bumped to the top of the list, Mayor Francis, Wilson, but why don't you guys come on up? You're going to speak, right? Come on up. The senators. Is this a really what it was about. All right. First of all, it's not my plan to tell my grandchildren I was at an event where we celebrated a sewer hookup. They think of me in a certain way. I don't want to change that. But those of us who care about the health of this lake, however, know there's much to celebrate today. Connecting the state park to the Roxbury sewer system represents one of the most significant steps we have taken as a lake community to restoring and preserving the health of Lake Hopatcong. But as we all know, sewer systems do not hook themselves up. It takes a lot of people. So I would first like to thank NGP Deputy Commissioner, former Commissioner Catherine Mikie. It was Commissioner Mikie who learned that the sewer system needed to be hooked up, and from that moment to today is why we're here. But I also like to welcome and thank Acting Commissioner Shawn LaTourette, because it was under your watch that this project, which many said could not get done, especially during a pandemic, it was started and completed. Thank you very much for that. And I'm going to mention them because they deserve to be mentioned as many times as we can. Also, DEP Associate Commissioner of Science and Policy, Katie, thank you again for your leadership. Along with personnel from the Associate Commissioner of Natural and Historic Resources, Bukowski's Division of Parks and Forestry, and personnel from Associate Commissioner on Water Resource Management, Gardner's Division of Water Monitoring and Standards. These are the people who do the actual work to get us here today, not like us. In Roxbury Township, special thanks to my fellow councilman, Mark Crowley, who's a fierce advocate for the lake, as well as Township Manager John Shepard and his staff, and in particular Township Engineer Mike Kobolars, who worked closely with the state to get this done. I want to also thank my fellow mayors from around the lake, Mayor Francis of Hopatcong, Mayor Wilsusen of Jefferson, and Mayor Mike Stanzilis of Mount Arlington. Working together, we make a pretty effective team with real results. Thanks to Marty Kane, Lake Hopatcong's voice, for bringing the mayors together and for the devotion you share for this lake. And a special thank you to the lake's two advocacy groups, Lake Hopatcong Commission and Lake Hopatcong Foundation, as well as our federal, state, and county representatives for your continuing support for making today possible. Thank you. Thank you all very much for making this happen today.
Go ahead, Mike. Yeah, Mike, go ahead. No, you go. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I didn't write a speech because I don't need to write a speech to talk about our lake.
Nope.
So,
No.
But I won't keep up. Anyhow, thank you, Commissioner, for coming. Assistant Commissioner Katie. This lake here, the water is our treasure. Our lake is our jewel. It is. The Borough of Hopatcong is pretty much the entire west shore of our lake. So it's really important to us, the quality of our lake, what we do at our lake. And the lake issues that we address them are about leadership. And that's what we're looking forward to. It's refreshing that we see the commissioner and the assistant that will come up and give us the right time of day. That's important. It shows and encouraging to me that we're not alone when we have issues with our lake. And maybe in the past we have been a little bit. This is a state lake. My expectation is that the lake takes responsibility for it. And lately I see more than before. So you know, we've had discussion with Katie. I'm always coming up with new and different approaches. I will challenge you. I will continue to challenge you. So I'll give the commissioner a heads up right now. I got some other stuff that I have planned to talk
After
about.
the senators are done.
And the way that we do this, as I told the commissioner, is this is fine when we get here. We acknowledge everybody. Everybody's here. Thank you very much. It's important. But the real work is done when Katie and the commissioner sit down with the mayor and myself, everyone, they just have a cup of coffee and talk about the lake. That's how you get done. That's where the work gets done. The work doesn't get done in public speaking and you know, sitting in a bureaucratic place like Trenton. Been there a couple of times. Talked about HAB control. Talked about triploid grass carp. We're going to visit that. Talking about what we've been doing for the past 20 years and expecting, we're doing the same thing, expecting different results. That's simply not going to work. It's not. So I promise you, I will bring challenges to you. We're going to talk about them because that's what we have to do to keep our lake as good as we're trying to get it. So with that being said, thank you.
I always say I don't want to have to follow up after Mayor Francis, so, but I'm going to follow up after Mayor Francis. First and foremost, thank you, Commissioner LaTourette, for coming here today. I just want to make note that the governor came here last year. It was on my birthday, and bought dinner for the mayors at a really great restaurant here in Lake Hopatcong. Just making note of that, just future reference. But it was on my birthday. It was actually pretty cool. But we appreciate you, appreciate all your staff and everybody that's here today, all of our elected officials. Appreciate the governor coming here. It really, as Mike has said, it really shows that Lake Hopatcong is becoming a concern for the state. As Mayor Francis said, this is our jewel. I'm a lifelong resident of Lake Hopatcong, growing up right next door on Lake Shawnee. I'm the new mayor on the block. 2019 was my trial by fire. I've served on the Lake Hopatcong Commission for a few years prior to becoming mayor, and my first 6 months in office, we got hit with a harmful algal bloom. And it hasn't stopped since, just saying, since I've been mayor. Pandemic wasn't on my radar, becoming an elected official. But it was a scary time in that summer of 2019. We watched our lake, prime time. You've come to Lake Hopatcong at a perfect time, right before Memorial Day weekend. And from Memorial Day through Labor Day and beyond, this lake is, an economic resource for this entire region. And we watched our lake go barren. There was nobody on the lake, and we had to convince people to come back. And that's scary for us as, local elected officials, when we have our local businesses coming to us and saying, what are we going to do? And, it was thanks to Marty and Ron Smith from the commission and our foundation. The fact that we as mayors are getting together, and Katie, thank you so much. We ever since, the meetings at Hopatcong High School, where the public came and we all got lambasted on what we're going to do with Lake Hopatcong, we promised that we would get together and we would try to solve some of these problems together. And we have done that, and we continue to do that. We meet on a regular basis as mayors. We meet on a regular basis with Katie and her staff. And I really think that's making great progress for Lake Hopatcong, and it's doing great things. So we truly appreciate that. Thank you to Kerry. Kerry was I served on the commission with Kerry. When we didn't really have a great dialogue with the DEP, that Kerry was, you're right, she was always there for us. She'd always give it to us straight. Absolutely. That's Kerry's style, and we certainly appreciate that. But we appreciate the open lines of communication and for doing the best for Lake Hopatcong, and that's what we're all here for. And thank you all for coming. We look forward to a great summer. We're not even going to mention harmful algal bloom. It's not even in our language anymore. But we're going to get through this. Our businesses deserve it. This is 2 years between harmful algal bloom and pandemic. They deserve a good summer, and we're really going to work hard to get it for them. Thank you.
Hi. I don't know if I've ever heard Mayor Francis so succinct. Thank you so much. But the boat does await us. I will get shot by a member of my staff if I don't say, just to show that we're actually on to business, that tonight on the YouTube channel, you can watch Voices of Lake Hopatcong, which was done by local students about the harmful algal bloom here at the lake. What time, Donna?
7 o'clock, Lake Hopatcong Foundation YouTube channel and Facebook Live. It was funded through the Smithsonian grant. Many of you here in the audience were interviewed, so thank you for participating.
And I would have I would not have left the park alive probably if we didn't get a public service announcement out. So thank you, Donna. Thank you for doing that. And really, I guess we don't cut a ribbon for a sewer line, huh? And I know they're still tweaking it, shall we say?
Toilet paper.
But and also thank you for the standing back up that rain garden in the park. That was really important for us, and it meant a lot. And just overall, the park personnel. I have to tell you, if you came about a few days ago, this place looked like a battlefield from all the work. They've done an amazing job getting this park in shape. And I will say, we know that the parks people don't always have, I'll say, as many resources as they really need to get the job done. And you come here on a Saturday and Sunday, this is a very different park. We put hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, I guess Blanca could tell you exactly how many that come through here in a year, but it's a lot of people. And this is the public access to the lake. I mean, this is where people from around the state get to see Lake Hopatcong. It's just not a rich people's lake. It's a public access lake. And you know, we can't say enough about how important that is. And with that said, and saying we cannot thank you enough for giving us the opportunity to work with you, because we think the lake completely benefits from us just all working together. Let's go out on the boat. 38 additional septic systems offline, thanks to Mayor Francis and his, I'll say, creative planning by approaching sewers one block at a time. It really is. It's not just the state park, but we are in the right trend and we are going in the right direction. Okay?